History rarely collapses overnight. It erodes slowly, one reckless decision at a time. For decades, Democrats branded themselves as the party of progress. But lately, progress has turned into panic. From Gavin Newsom's failed power grab in California to Democrats doxing federal agents, the cracks aren't just political, they're moral and strategic. The left hasn't only lost ground, they've lost direction. It started with Newsom's Proposition 50, an attempt to change California's constitution and let lawmakers, not a neutral committee, redraw district maps. The goal was to counter Republican gains in Texas. On paper, it sounded bold. In reality, it triggered a chain reaction. Red states like Missouri, Kansas, and Florida retaliated, redrawing maps to eliminate Democratic districts. By the end, Republicans gained up to 15 new seats, while Democrats gained just a handful. It was a political arms race, and Newsom had fired the first shot. At the same time, the Supreme Court took up Louisiana v. Collar, challenging Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, which allowed majority-minority districts. Analysts predicted the court would strike it down, potentially flipping another 1520 seats red. Combined with the redistricting fallout, Democrats faced a 25-35 seat swing, a generational realignment. Instead of recalibrating, Democrats doubled down. Congressman Robert Garcia announced a public hacker to monitor immigration agents, claiming it was for transparency. In practice, it exposed federal officers' locations, putting lives at risk. It wasn't oversight, it was obstruction. Voters noticed. Moderates recoiled, seeing a party consumed by rage, not reason. Polls even showed up to 20% of Democrats believing political violence could be justified. Once violence becomes acceptable, control is lost, and history's lessons are ignored. Meanwhile, Republicans quietly played the long game. During all the noise, they confirmed hundreds of conservative judges, lifetime appointments shaping law for decades. While Democrats obsessed over short-term optics, conservatives built lasting influence in the judiciary. Worse, the Democratic Party began turning on itself. Moderates like Abigail Spanberger struggled to distance themselves from chaos within their own ranks. When a Democratic running mate was caught making violent comments, she complained about the distraction rather than condemning it. It revealed a deeper rot: party loyalty over principle. Even high-profile endorsements from Barack Obama couldn't hide the desperation. Scandals exposed a double standard too. In Maine, Senate candidate Graham Plattner was found with a Nazi SS tattoo. Democrats brushed it off as a youthful mistake. Yet when a Trump nominee once made off-color jokes, Democrats demanded resignation. The inconsistency was glaring. When outrage, it was cultural. Latino voters, once considered a Democratic stronghold, began shifting, right? In places like Miami-Dade, South Texas, and parts of Arizona, Latino communities flipped Republican. These voters weren't persuaded by rhetoric, they were alienated by it. They cared about jobs, safety, faith, and family, values the modern left seemed to dismiss. Democrats misread them as single-issue identity voters when, in reality, they were pragmatic. This Latino realignment is more than a political swing, it's a cultural correction. People who fled socialism are rejecting rhetoric that echoes it. Once this kind of shift takes hold, it rarely reverses. Yet Democrats keep revving the same broken engine, blaming messaging instead of strategy, and doubling down on the very narratives that drove voters away. The truth is, Democrats tried to control everything: the courts through procedure, elections through redistricting, and public opinion through media dominance. But control breeds fragility. When the system doesn't go as planned, it collapses. Republicans, by contrast, are adapting, focusing on state power, judicial influence, and long-term cultural engagement. The left's mistake wasn't bad luck, it was bad design. Newsom's Proposition 50, the ICE tracker, tolerance of violent rhetoric, and selective outrage all signaled a party out of touch with reality. Add in internal fractures, judicial losses, and demographic shifts, and you see a movement eating itself alive. But there's still a choice. The Democratic Party can either learn or collapse. To survive, it must rediscover humility, rebuild trust, and focus on real issues: economy, safety, family, not outrage or symbolism. That means rejecting performance politics and returning to practical governance. Democracy at its best is self-correcting.